I decided to maybe try and start some of these by showing you my preparatory marks. This was the exploration of lines, of effects, of the width of the pen that I did using a 0.1mm pen, and I plan to use the 0.3 for the foreground. I thought that maybe you'd be interested to see what sort of experimenting I spend a few minutes doing before I start. If you'd like to see me do that more regularly, please let me know in a comment. But for now, I've decided to start with the tower and move down. Start in the centre, move out in all directions. And I'm particularly at this stage, besides paying attention to the architectural detail, looking at that third angle that creates a triangle here. You see me doing a few kind of dotted lines and just checking the angle. Yep, that seems to make sense. But I did that line a lot by looking at the triangle that was formed above it and trying to draw that triangle. So this is looking at the underlying shapes that we see and sometimes just trying to draw that shape as a two-dimensional object. So there are these buttresses now that come out on each corner. It's always worth making sure we actually understand the architecture before we start to draw it. It wasn't super obvious at a glance what was happening with this corner when I first looked at the reference, not because it's actually very complicated, but because the colours and values were all very similar, and so it was hard to actually work out what was one plane and what was a different plane. So you see me now exploring how far to come out, and I'm doing it by drawing the details and trying to keep the size, the right scale for what I've drawn already in relation to proportions in the reference. And that gives me now this line. And there's another buttress that comes out then as well. I always felt that my danger with this steeple was to go too wide, too tall. It is actually quite small, and yet the detail that's there is relatively simple detail. It's only a bit tricky because of the size that we would have to draw it. But it's the sort of architecture that would encourage us to draw it, but hard to not let it grow a little bit larger, which would then, of course, make everything a little bit larger. As it is, my tower is actually slightly larger. When I look at this at the end, I'm thinking, yep, and the foreground isn't slightly larger, which does create a different sense of the presence of this church looming above the buildings in front. So I'm not trying to get caught up in drawing the actual detail. I am going for effects, and therefore I'm often drawing values rather than objects. I'm just trying to create darknesses of dark value, mid value, light value that in some way reflect what's happening because of the details in our subject. And this is what I call drawing the effect of detail. It works beautifully for architecture, crowds of people, fields of flowers, leaves on a tree, rich decorative ornamentation on a wall, ornate architecture, sculptures in architectural pediments and so forth. It's an incredibly versatile technique. It's really a way of thinking, not of drawing. So you could check out my playlist if you're interested in seeing this technique of drawing applied to more things than just architecture. I dare say people who discovered me through using that technique to draw a field of flowers may not even know I draw architecture. So check that out if you haven't seen it. And look, if you're finding this helpful, if you're finding this series helpful, please help me out and hit the like button. If you can hit the like button every time for this series for me, then that's a help. It lets people know that it has support. And I'm always expecting the bulk of my time to be taken doing this spire, this steeple, just trying to keep things in proportion. And as I said, there's sort of enough detail. And here I am now working on the spire. It's a spire within four little spires in some ways. So I need to look at my reference enough to see exactly how do I draw the two triangular, smaller, tiny spires on each side. And which lines can I draw first and which ones do I have to have before? And I've managed to, oh goodness, this looks much worse in the photo, even in the video, than it did in real life. I managed to tilt the spire one way. And I'll tell you how I messed that up. It was because I was aligning the top of the spire with what was under it in the photo, I thought, but I wasn't sitting straight on to the desk. So when I drew a straight line down from the top of the spire, it kind of didn't connect with the lower part of the tower that it should have connected with. And yeah, so I got the dot in the wrong place. What I should have done after I'd worked it out that way was then look at the dot with the pen not in my hand and visualize how the triangular bit on top would sit, the pyramid would sit on top if I used that point. And then I think I would have seen, hang on, no, it's leaning off to the left. Whatever I think the drawing, whatever I think the photo is saying, I need to make sure my drawing is vertical. That's what I should have done. So there you go. That's my take home for tomorrow's drawing from this drawing. Now I've picked up my 0.3 millimeter pen to do the foreground, because that rather perilous looking spire is pretty much the end of the church. So if you struggle drawing bare winter branches with things behind them, you'll get to see the way I do it in a fairly simplified subject example, but this is the same technique I would use whether it was simple or not. Always draw the tree first. Always draw the tree first so that you know what you can see behind it, because although in the photo, if we look at the photo, we see what's behind as clearly as the branches, in life, that's not what happens. In life, particularly where there's a lot of very small branches close together, twigs even close together, as we get close to the leaf part of the branch, then in life, we focus on that and we don't see what's behind very clearly. We do get a sense of it. We do get a sense of overall large details, particularly large changes in value. But in reality, we focus on the trees that are closer and we don't really see what's behind. And if I draw the trees and then I draw the building behind just over the top, or if I do it the other way around, then in my photo, in my drawing, I'm seeing things equally detailed. And that's not the effect we get in life. And this is why I talk about capturing the effect. And what we see in photos isn't always the visual effect we see in real life, because a camera is not two sets of eyes with a brain between them. So we do need to be cautious when we use a photo that we just copy it very literally and capture all the weaknesses that a photo has as well. So bare tree branches is one of those. Strictly looking at the photo, it's easy to say, oh no, I could just draw the building behind the tree but over the top, or vice versa, because you see it all the same. But if we do that in our drawing, it won't look as convincing as it looks in the photo. So you can see how it looks when I finish the rest of it. We're almost up with the 10 minutes. We're getting very close to flicking to double time to just do some of the other detail. There might be a minute and a half at this point. I don't know. The editing app that I use doesn't let me see how the time is sliding along with the clip. I dare say I have to pay for it rather than use the free version to get that sort of feature. So there we have it. I did find it annoying the way those horizontal lines above the window didn't line up with the perspective patterns accurately, and particularly the hedge that I haven't drawn yet, but that dark section above that balustrade looking, fence looking cream section that comes out there. So the perspective angles would all line up if these objects are all at right angles or parallel to each other. But what this tells me, just looking at the angles that are formed here with the architecture I can see, is that if you go in that gate, then there's a courtyard, but the courtyard's not a rectangular one. It's some sort of trapezoid shape. And therefore, different parts of the architecture that we see align with different sides of that trapezoid, and so the perspective angles don't go to the same place. The vanishing point is not the same for all of these buildings that we see because they're not parallel to each other. So at this point, I'm very much aware of the clock, and I have a few things. There are a few parts down in this corner where things don't quite line up as tightly as in the photo. And I do simplify the detail there a bit as well. But I was feeling a bit lost in that lower right corner, so I decided to go back to the hedge and do some very quick, very hasty hatching, as much just to get visually something a bit different happening, a bit of value in there. So I have a playlist on all things foliage, how to draw trees it's called, but really any plants, flowers, leaves, grasses I throw in there as well. So if you struggle with foliage in any way, I can recommend that playlist as well. And now just getting this gate done. I have, yes, I must have switched into second time. I have. I can see that I have. It looked like I was going pretty fast, and in my mind I wasn't remembering this as being this fast. I don't know how you feel, but sometimes when I'm getting towards the end, I mean I've actually done most of it, and maybe in my mind I've done the difficult parts of a drawing. I can really start to almost grind to a halt before I stop. Just start relaxing. So I've just got a burst of energy again, thinking, no, I've got to finish this. So I think this took me 14 minutes in real time, but I certainly did slow down at the end in the double time section. And so you can see how I've positioned the building behind this. I don't run the lines through the branches. And so the trees visually definitely sit in front of that building behind. It's quite clear at a glance, and I think that actually mimics the effect of real life for this sort of situation actually better than the photo actually that has captured actual objects, but it hasn't captured the sense of space and focus and so forth. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you're having a go and doing at least some of these daily drawing exercises. They really are designed. The strategy really is daily drawing for a short period. But look, whatever you're able to do and however you do it in whatever time you do it in, make sure you keep having fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.